Here we are in the endless cycle of knowledge that we do not know yet. Hey, how y'all feeling? Or how you feeling? I gotta stop saying y'all. How you feel? Um, mentally, we're here. We're back. We're not in a different emotional state. We're timid. We're not spiraling in circles. Uh, Today, I always say, oh, when I talk, I want you to see a glimpse of my mind. But today we're gonna be talking about some crazy stuff that might be a little bit taboo for y'all, a little bit, just a little. So, first order of business is it is. See, this is why I gotta read over my notes before I start putting up the videos. So we know our sense of self, right? We talk about our sense of self, how it is to be a being of consciousness, and wondering if we're here for a reason or not. Are we truly animals? We think we're just a higher state of not being animals because we have a subconscious and we think, But by definition, we are animals because we eat organic matter. So, we're all animals, even if we have a higher level of consciousness. So, uh, we always talk about sense of self, but I want to talk about not only the self-doubt that I used to have. I had self-doubt in one of my videos. It was a late video. It was me regretting you know, not portraying, but having a pursuit to collegiate football, right? I see my friends doing it, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't the best in the world, but I was good enough to make it to the next level, you know. But I feel like I was scared that I was gonna lose my mind to the battle of not just the depression, but the battle of wits of football, because you gotta have a certain level of intelligence to play football, if you believe it or not. I know the cliche is the stereotype is all jocks are dim-witted and dumb, but you gotta have a little bit of knowledge to play that type of stuff. And with that, it also came with the physical aspect. Like I was there physically, but mentally I was out of it. I was out of it during when I was doing I was playing primary school. I was out of it, and even when it came to thought, I was getting banged up here and there. I could take a hit here and there, but like I was like further on, I don't know if I can take this. Like I don't know if not my mental state, but I don't know if my mind will be the same. I was scared not of the unknown, but also if I was gonna lose the so-called pseudo intelligence I already had. I felt like I wouldn't lose my self-assess, but football was a part of me. It was my personality for a moment in time. I didn't do it for everybody else. I started late, so even then I was already at the bottom because I started late. I wasn't doing it since a little boy. I wasn't in organized football since a little boy, so it's just But anyway, past out. I always thought I had an enemy, but the enemy was my inner me. I was the enemy to myself. Within, the enemy within is always your first enemy, and your first enemy will always be yourself, and your first fan will always be yourself. Your first supporter will be yourself. Everything that comes first will be you. Your day ones aren't your day zeros. Your day zero is yourself. Hold yourself accountable to those things. Honestly, I really wonder if it's worth it to keep on going, right? But it is worth it, It is worth it. You got it. You got to. If it's not worth it, then what's the point of living? I feel like I'm wasting time. I'm gonna find another job. I want to have like 2 or 3 jobs. My mom, she had a lot of jobs when we was younger, so I always looked up there. I always looked up to my mother, my biological mother, at that instance. You know, the one that birthed me. I always look up there. You know, no matter how bad she treated me, how bad she did me, I always look up there because I know it's hard. You know, we always talk about the stereotype of a black boy having a single mother, not having a father in his life. You know, but my father, my biological father, he made up for his absence, so I don't hold that against him. Cause I know me, I wouldn't want a kid at the age he was, or another one. But um, I always talk about paradox and self-self and how we put limiters on things that we do not know because our human minds are feeble and we cannot understand it to its full capability. But with that, I feel like not only do we do that, but we pick and choose what we see. We pick and choose what we want to hear. We have selective hearing when it comes to the facts and knowledge. And with that, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have selective hearing. I want to have selective hearing, but I feel like you know, the things I say, it's because I remember a video where I said if the things I say are true, they'll try to silence me, or if I look like a threat and not just a crazy person, right? And I just don't see it as a manic person that loses his mind and schizophrenic, or they paint me out to be this crazy person, they will try to silence me. Who are they? I don't know. I wouldn't say the CIA or the FBI because I ain't that important. Never will be. But hey, you can't put limiters on yourself. I feel like there's regulations to the things that we see, hear, and do. Like there's things that have been altered from the past, present, and future. I'm not trying to go all too deep and say, oh, time travel is true, but I feel like either a otherworldly being or the people who are so-called controlling the masses are altering things in a linear concept, in a linear concept, like they're distorting things to the point where it always seemed like that was the thing, and I can't say that without any proof, right? And I always I didn't look too deep in it, but I always feel like something off. Like when I used to, okay, I wouldn't call them dreams, but I used to have visions of things that I heard experienced, but I so-called never did. Somebody will tell me you never did that, but then I remember it so visibly. You know, it'll be a vision of like a day vision I see, or I was dreaming, so-called. Because it's visions of daydreaming. But then I was when I do get sleep, right? When I'm close to sleeping or in REM sleep, I'll so-called wake up, but I'll still be in there, and then I'll see something, and then a couple months later, it'll happen in the real so-called world, and I'm like, that's maybe just a coincidence. We sum up the things that connect each other as coincidences most of the time, and I feel like it comes a point where this is how the Mandela effect gets integrated, but I can't just say all these theories and don't tell you why, right? The Mandela effect, right? The Mandela effect was supposedly just two different memories of a man that died in jail, but then there's another memory where he became a leader in Africa, and there's two different memories that people have. But sometimes you can just chalk that up to coincidences. But even if a coincidence is, it gets to a point where why is there so many coincidences of things being removed or things never being that, but so many other people, multiple millions of people remember it being this way, not just a couple thousands. But then, even if you say that, it gets discarded by the things that are distracting. Like what's the one that they try to joke? It's like a dress, right? It was a dress that was like it was black and blue, but people said it was gold and white. They use that to distract you and be like, oh, there's no feasible evidence, so they're just gonna chop it up as, oh, it's a joke. And I see it like that, but sometimes I really wonder, why do so many people have memories or recollection of things that so-called never happened? So I feel like not the so-called timeline, but the point that we are on is being altered, is being changed. But even as I say that, why does it matter? It's not like we can change. What can I do? Spreading awareness doesn't do anything if you don't do it. It just even with that, I feel like it's being changed for a reason. You know, maybe they're seeing how much they can get away with before they start doing big things. And I feel like the first big thing was probably COVID. You know, making a disease that is airborne worldwide, bigger than the Black Plague, to solidify us and capture us in our homes and see how many rules we will abide by before we say this is enough. You know, even with me, I was scared. I was scared because I almost lost a couple family members to COVID. So I was like, dang. But then even with the stories, people doing research, figuring out, oh, this man got bit by a bat and this is how it spread. And then even when you try to dig deeper than that, nobody can explain it to its fullest extent. We're only getting half-ass answers, or people just joking about it, you know. And then people be like, "Wake up, this is the real world." Right? Yeah, it gets to a point, but like, even with that, there's valid distractions that like I can't do anything about it, so why should I care? You know. You know, you can make your little podcast and talk about the world and how the world is different, how time travel, all these theories, but with no visible proof, why believe in it? You know. But sometimes you don't need visible proof to believe in it. Just, you know, that's why people disrespect religions and things like that, because there's no visible proof. Well, let them believe in what they believe. Don't disrespect somebody's culture or their religion because you don't believe. What do you gain from that? Trying to debunk something you don't truly understand. I mean, there's a difference from natural and normal. Putting otherworldly concepts on a normal thing, but then not abiding by the other rules of this book that you follow, it's selective. Why be selective? Now there's some rules that are so popularized and that they follow, you know. But I feel like maybe the reason that it is like that because those are the easiest to control. But I can't say that because I do not know. I am not knowledgeable in that, so I will never speak on something I do not fully know. So I will try to do further, you know, research, trying to inform. Because I would never disrespect their religion, not because of the people behind it and they're massacring me and they crucify me, but I feel like you gain nothing by disrespecting something they believe in. You know, that's like disrespecting me, like, oh, my favorite color is blue. What's the most worst color in the world? And here's the facts and this, that, and the third, and statistics of why blue is not the best color to choose. You gain nothing from that. You gain nothing from that. Honestly, you know, I feel like so many people had the same opinion as me, or the same thoughts as me, were just scared to say it, or just thought it was laughable to say. So I'm gonna say it anyway. People just don't want to be seen as crazy or misheard. That's why context is everything. But I might have to go real quick. I'll be right back. I gotta let the dog back into the house. Back. Hey, less than 10 seconds. I feel like. But anyway, I don't want to say back to the yap because I feel like it discredits what I say when I be like, oh, we're just yapping. You know, they try to soften and land on their words, but even though they truly believe in it, you know. How long does it take for me to be noticed, right? The attention that we all seek, the notoriety we all seek, the fame we all seek. But seek it for this the amenities that come with it, the things that come with the fame, the notoriety that comes with the fame, the attention that comes with it, just the money, the cars, and the luxurious lifestyle. I don't, it's cool to have that, but the reason I want that because the masses see you and they follow everything and they take everything you say and they soak it all in like a drug. You become a drug just like the internet and the phones. Once you're famous, you become somebody's drug to the point where they get parasocial. But if it comes to that, I don't care. Because as long as I get to spread the word that I fully think is not only true, but would help me. Because I want everybody to I don't want nobody to follow my path, but I just want people to hear what I have to say and figure it out. Go tunnel visiting into your things you like art, writing, music, enjoying nature, discovering, adventuring. Be hyper focused on the things that you love. Because I know it's just corny to say, but we got over that stage. Everything's corny and cringe. We got over that stage. I know it might be cliche to say, but you only live once, man. You only do. You only got one life. Ain't no restarts. You only got one. So you gotta take the good with the bad, bro. You gotta take the good with the bad. Cause if you don't, who is for you? Nobody. You gotta take your own accountability. Create what you wanna create. The point of living is to create and learn, is it not? As I said, sometimes I see humans and us as parasites, because we were born to gain knowledge, but we were also born to spread like a poison, a symbiote. We're born to make more, to create more. But is that a poison, or is it something that's helpful? Because if you think about it, everything's a poison. Trees are a poison because it spreads. It spreads, but it helps us breathe air. But the so-called oxygen is corroding our bodies slowly while we spit out carbon dioxide, polluting the world, greenhouse gases, right? Everything is slowly killing everything, so don't think too hard of it, because once you overthink, you tend to lose your mind, and then once you go insane, nobody wants to hear your word, because your word means nothing once you lose your mind. Keep your mind not solace, but solidified. Don't keep your mind solidified to the point where you cannot gain or learn anything new, but keep it strong. Break the walls that are weak and are not holding up your mind, and make new ones. But make it with a window. Make it with a window so it can, open, get some air, get something new. But hey, sometimes you can have them. See, I dig construction, right? What's those buildings that just have like a massive airway through when you go through the house? It's not a door, but it's a massive cutout, and they put like shingles on it. I forgot what it's called. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, figure it out. I'm not good with metaphors anymore, man. I fell in love. I feel like every video is a different me. I feel like that's why they so called say I got these disorders. Every video is it's a different me, or a different emotion that's pouring through. You know, some are calm and collected, some are disappointed, some are happy, some are jokeful, some are angry, some are just timid. You know, and then some are just all together. But I think that's just a human. That's just a human mind. I think humans are allowed to fluctuate emotions, but not, because if you fluctuate with them too rapidly, then they start to diagnose you with things. So I try to put on the facade that I am normal. I try to contempt it. Emotions are wonderful. They really are. I didn't make a short, so this video will be made, and I'll make a short to this video, and I'll probably make some more videos today. You know, I want to have a big catalog, so when I do have a come up, they can be like, he was always talking like this, even when he was young. you know. But I feel like, even because the only reason people will pay attention because you're new or something different. We tend to romanticize the unknown, but the familiarity becomes mundane. You know, everything that is familiar becomes boring and mundane, and we don't want to see it. But since I'm new and bright, and I got a different mindset. But once you figure me all out, you don't want to watch me no more, and I already know how it's gonna be. So should I just always keep on changing and evolving, or will I get put in a category and be like, oh, he talks about this, but he doesn't do it? At the end of the day, you don't know how long your 10 seconds of fame will last. It might last 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 months, or 10 years. Who knows? But I don't want mine to last. I want mine to last 10 millennials. 10 millennials. To the point where even these little videos I'm making will still be, they become not archived, but acrylic, so, you know, something that's not just achievable. A piece of history, you know. But what's it called? It's not with an A. It's not acrylic archetype. It's something with an A, but I forgot the word. It's ancient. It's not ancient, but like it's something that is old, but it's very very useful, and it's like, bro, it's always the word that you need to use the most that you forget. My mind keep on running. I'm gonna figure it out. How long is this video right now? Oh my God, it's 22 minutes. God dang. Come on, Solitude, you yapping too much. It's not an heirloom. Not an heirloom. Artifact. I don't know why I got so hyped. I don't know why. Ancient artifact, or not an ancient, but mine would be an artifact, something, you know. Artifact. I feel like it might just be art and then it's a fact. That's why they said artifact. Okay, let's stop. Most of the words are just like Roman or French, you know. English is a crazy language, but anyway, it was great conversing with you. You know, even though you can't respond back. Subscribe. Like it. Okay, so look, bam, break it down one to one. We're close to 100 subscribers. Our miniature main goal is 250, and then our big goal is 500. So just stay tuned for that. And we're doing pretty good though. But anything else? Let me see. Anything else? Hold on. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. We're still trying to figure out. Don't leave. No, we're good. We're good. Create, don't remake, and you have a blessed day.